Welcome back. Apologies for the technical difficulties. We lost the first part of the broadcast, but we're back in now. Ryan George in the pits for let's swap. Battle for second place is continuing to rage on between Vorkle in the VL racing car and Sean Cull for SBR. And Sean Cull, who took over from Ben Milden early. Well, he's been in the car since the race had started. Actually, Ben Milden was in the car during qualifying, but Cull won't be in the car for too much longer. A look back in the battle for 8th position, and Anderson's made a mistake on the exit of turn 1. And there's a stop-go penalty for Ryan George for speeding in the pit lane, so that'll be him in the pits within the next 3 laps. Whilst you watch the battle for second place, I'm just going to bob out for a minute or so just to sort something, and I'll come back. Back in the action as Postle comes into the pits for the Czech Console Racing team. Whether he'll hand the car over on this occasion, may well do. And Langdon, who will need to serve the stop and go for letter swap because he swapped with Ryan George, who was in the car just now. So that Chris Gedman has been on track, I think, or has anyway. I think Chris has been on track. He's come back into the pits again, so that team's day has just gone from bad to worse. I think Chris would have been okay to continue with the car all the way to the end because his teammate Charlie Smith has already been black flagged. Oh, and that's a mistake by the Super Hutch racing car again. No, it's not. It's the quite tell actually by the camera angle. I think that's Nick Landon. Boucher with the wall on the exit of McVinnery Park. Boucher's back in the pits. Again, I wonder if he's swapped over to his teammate this time. I've seen the initials on the car. I think that's Clausen, who is in there now. Now here's Sean Cull on the tail of Vorkle. Is this going to be a change for position? chase. No. Landon's got one more lap to do before he has to come in, otherwise he will be black flagged. Busov is ahead of Polidetta Neto at the moment in the fight for 8th position. It's going at it. Bissell is back in the Czech console racing car now. Be in there for the rest of the race, but he'll do a chunk of it. Chris Gedman is out on circuit in the TC racing car. Achieve what he can. He's not going to really gain any positions from where he is. He's just got to hope others fall by the wayside between now and the end of the race. 18 laps behind Jamie Rees at least anyway. So get through on Busov, who it's not Busov coming in, that's Langdon is just coming in to get his stop and go penalty done, and Adam Anderson is in also for SRC. He's done his bit for today. He's been in the car since the beginning. It's time to change over. So he'll be in his car, will be Dan Naisbitt, although Dan Naisbitt was in the car earlier as well, so could well see Anderson back in before this race is over. And Craig Law is in, done his time for this race. Will Freeman will take over. Oh, he's had a clout with the wall as well, actually, as Craig Law. Not sure what's happened involving him. Has he had a skirmish with someone? Something. Don't really know. Borgle's into the lead now. Sean Cole is in 2nd place. Dory will go up to 3rd. Don't think Conway may well go through as well. As will Oleg. Langdon's stop and go penalty has been cleared and he's out on his way. Conway's in the pits also, so I wonder if Robinson will take over the seat. That put Oleg up into 4th place then. Law comes back out. Finds Oleg in 5th. Repairs haven't been done to his bonnet for some reason, which is interesting. He's going to be suffering horribly with that. I think Freeman may well be in the car. Yeah, sorry, it's Will Freeman's in that machine now. Just waiting for the sector to update the driver name on the French Connection team. And there you go. So Will Freeman's in the car now. I'd have thought with the gap that they had, it would have been okay repairing it, but thought otherwise and thought maybe it's better not to get the repair job done. Vogel is in the pits then. Time is up for this race. So he'll hand the car over to Robbo Furco. Robbo Furco, I should say. Naldori is also in. He'll hand the seat over to Kobe Alerts. Sean Cole must pit in this lap because his allocation of 95 minutes will elapse if he doesn't pit in this time around. Team with the fast lap of the race is obviously the French Connection team. They'll be on course to get that. Up at the moment by Massa, who has had a rather eventful race today. Like Cole, who's done well to keep himself out of the fray with the support of his teammate Ben Milden, who guided him through the chaos in the opening stages. Now it's Ben's turn to take over the wheel. Damage that Freeman's got on his car, could that give them the chance to overcome Connection team in this race? Ben said their target was for a podium. Place in Imola, second place in Donington. Bull is in from the lead now. Vodka is coming down the back straight, and I can tell you that he is actually ahead of Freeman on circuit. I think Freeman's been they've pitted twice, obviously. Law pitted for fuel and tyres earlier on. Freeman has taken over, and I think with the strategy that the likes of SBR and VRL are doing, I think they're looking to maybe go to the end without. They're looking to do maybe just the one stop or something, I don't know. Otherwise they wouldn't be in front of the French Connection team, who've been miles out in front today. Cole is behind Vorkel in second place now. Well, I say Cole, it's actually now Ben Milden who's in the seat. Oleg is in third place, Freeman fourth, and it's Alerts, Robinson and Busov in eighth as well. Dan Naisbitt is ninth. That's the Brazilian Daniel Moreira in 10th place. And that's Dylan Moreira going a bit too quick through the skyline. He clouds at the wall, but has kept going. His handling's not affected by that. 99 McLaren being chased by the 128 Bentley. We watch top two in your picture at 46. See the sun continuing to pop out mountains. And, rain is just coming soon. Is it a 3-hour race? It is. We've just we had a Brockton into the first broadcast. We just uploaded the second one, so yeah, it is a 3-hour race. Answering your question. And Craig Law's just come in saying that he drops it at the elbow. And Craig's saying it's repaired fully and the bullet is fixed, so he doesn't know why it's not updated for me. Yeah, that's left Will Freeman with a job on his hands to rescue it for the team. Got enough time to do it. I mean, he's got an hour and 21. There's a yellow flag. It's the number 45 that's had a spin. Moreira's off the track just before McPhillamry Park. And he's gone back to the pits via the pause menu, so I wonder if that could well be him out of the action for now. Got Musty Ben, who's in the pits for should be a swap. Lucas Schmitz, who was in the car earlier on. So Milden's right on Vorkel's tail as they go through the back marker of Jamie Rees, I believe. This is a real fight. And doesn't need to risk it. FRL really want a good result out of this one. 6th in the team's championship going into this one, 54 points off the lead. Unlikely they're going to win the championship, but they'll want to try and win a race at least anyway. To the mountain straight towards Griffin's Bend. Go for it into the right-hander. No, he doesn't. Freeman's less than 6 seconds behind Oleg in the fight for 3rd place, so don't be at all surprised to see a battle between those two in a few laps' time. As we watch Milden claw all over the back of Vernke, go through his skyline. Being told that Alert's just spun at the chase as well, so Alert's dropping back from Freeman. Robinson closing in a little bit. Go back on board with Milden. He's looking for the pass. You can see Vernke not really fighting it on this occasion. He's almost like he's allowing the leader or allowing Milden to go through, and Milden's passed him. So Vernke decided not to fight it. That's a very, very interesting decision there from the VRL racing driver. So Milden takes over the lead here at Mount Panorama. Rare is just leaving the pits now. It's a lot of time. Vernke, I think Vernke may be having an issue at the moment because he's dropped so far back from where he was earlier. And whilst we ride on board with Robert Vernke, we can speak to Sean Cole, who was in the SBR car before Ben Milden took over. How was that for you, sir?
It was very challenging, especially at the start, being at the night race. We thought to ourselves, do you know what, we're just going to take it easy, just stay with the pack. I was struggling a little bit until the tyre temperature came up, but once they came up we started pushing on, and then unfortunately we had that big crash with the Audi, I think it was, at the start, at the top of the mountain, which thankfully we got through the middle of it all and we were kept in the race. So yeah, all good. The last 10 minutes of the first stint was very difficult. I lost about 5 seconds to the McLaren, who was leading us through the race, and we're just losing ground. So I said to Ben, like, we need to get into the pits now, get the new tyres on, and after that, well, we set the fastest lap, and we were absolutely flying. And the car just felt really, really good underneath us. We just kept the pressure on. We closed that 10-second gap from P2, and just before we were ready to come into the pits for our final stop to put Ben in the car, we noticed that Law must have got a big hit or something, because he was in the pit for a long time. So we were looking at, we were going to be looking at net P1 with race with the McLaren then, and yeah, as you just saw there, the McLaren's just hit that back marker who spun. So again, the luck on our side again. But to be honest with you, the car's feeling good. We're losing a lot of ground on the straights, but at the top of the mountain it's very solid, and that second stint was probably one of my best stints I've ever done on this game, sorry.
And going back to that instant, Ben had to guide you through what was going on ahead. It was almost like, you know, those sort of car spotters that you see in IndyCar, where sometimes they stand on an oval and they guide a driver through that. I think that was the kind of duty that Ben was doing with you, but it paid dividends because that could have been you out of it as well.
Oh, 100%. Well, especially when you're just getting to the flat top of the... I'm not familiar with all the corners, you know, but where the crash happened, I was just coming through the left-hander and it said yellow flags ahead, so you automatically look up and where the yellow flags are on your rear view mirror. But when I looked back down, I just saw a pile of cars and Ben was just screaming, brake, 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 stop, 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 stop. And thankfully a wee gap was there, and I just let go of the brakes and I just shot through. And yeah, we continued racing.
Yeah, and in terms of what's happened, it's obviously helped the championship for you at the moment. Ben's just gone through into the lead because Vodka has picked up damage, I think, from hitting either a back marker or hitting the wall somewhere, but he's lost a lot of time. But it's looking good for the SBR team in terms of not just the race but for the championship also. Is it done and dusted, do you think, or do you think there's still a long way to go yet in this one? We've got 1 hour and 14 minutes to go in this.
Well, going back to the McLaren you were just talking about there, I was also behind them when it happened, so it was a back marker that went off at the top of the mountain and came back across the track, which unfortunately the McLaren hit the rear. So that McLaren is carrying big damage right now. So he was actually really good, and he pulled to the left going down the back straight and put his indicator on to let Ben through. I don't think he wants to fight, but I think he is going to go to the end. Not losing that 30-second, well, however much damage he's got. With the 1 hour 13 minutes remaining, I call him Mr. Consistent, so it's Ben. He doesn't really make many mistakes, so we just got to keep it together. It's like we're saying, it's the championship is what we want, and especially for ESSA as well, who sadly passed away, as we all know. We're running his car, his number, to bring it home, especially to have another podium as well, and to hopefully win at Bathurst will be a huge achievement in this car. It's still a long way to go, but we'll see how we stand. But regardless where we finish, I think it's good points overall, going for the championship side of things.
Yeah, I mean it's been a bittersweet time for all the likes of Chris Jones's friends and family who've been through it for the last few months since his passing. And yes, it is an emotional time for a lot of people for him. But the race is not over by any means, because I've just seen Will Freeman close the gap on Oldleague for the battle for third place. Should he get by him, he should be able to close in on Fernker and Milden. So it's not done and dusted by any stretch of the imagination. Looking on my screen, it's saying that it's showing the bonnet damage on Freeman's car, although Craig says that the damage isn't actually there from his view. So I wouldn't say it's done and dusted just yet, but anything can happen.
Well, that's it. It's going to come down to the pit stop again. Again, you could take that gamble and not put tyres on and save yourself that 10-15 seconds regarding how much fuel you've got to put in. I will say that with that stint I just done there, I could have possibly done another 45 minutes on them tyres if I really wanted to. the car just felt really, really good. So we've got two options. We can play it safe and get that podium, or we can gamble without the tyres and go for that win. So it's, you think about the championship really. So we'll see what happens, and we'll see how it plans out, especially with Will in the car now for the French Connection team and the Mercedes. They're pushing on as well, but I don't know where AMS is. Where's so it should be Coal Fighter. I don't know where, but they were looking quite quick as well, and they've been caught up in a few incidents. But again, a good show of number of drivers as well to put it to FRL. They've done a great job putting this league together, and also yourself, Tom. You're doing a great job with the commentary. You're doing a fantastic job of that. So yeah, let's see how it plans out. An hour and 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for the compliment. It's much appreciated. You know, despite the eventful shenanigans we have seen tonight with drivers getting caught up in other incidents and other drivers clouting the wall so much in this race, it's kind of difficult to keep up really with everything that's going on. It's just almost like you're trying to find the best action out there. I will leave you to it because we've got a battle going on for third place between Oleg and Freeman, so I'll let you go off, Sean, and I'll go back to the action.
Appreciate that, guys. Right, take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
No problem. Freeman's less than a second behind Oleg in the fight for P3. This is an important move for Freeman potentially because he's trying to make up for lost time after Craig Law had apparently clouted the wall just before he came into the pits to do the swap with Will. So we'll ride on board with Will now as they come through Forest Elbow. This is apparently where Craig had his mishap a number of laps ago. It's too far back to have a go on Oleg on this occasion. But whilst that is happening, Vernker's lost a lot of time to Milden. The gap is 8.5 seconds. He's able to claw the gap back down a little bit, but Vernker's car is not handling very well. Certainly not as well as what Vorkel was handling early on in the race. You can see Freeman braking a little bit later just to put Oleg under a little bit more pressure going into the chase. I can tell you that Daniel Moreira is back in the pits for the O2C Tomcats Motorsport team, and that's a huge shame for them because they were running in the top 10 before the swap was made, and Moreira unfortunately had a dog's dinner of a stint since he's hopped into the machine. So that's a terrible shame for the team, and he's already been in the pits once and he's been in for a second time and he's not come back onto the circuit since. Will Freeman's half a second behind Oleg, and he's looking for it at Griffin's Bend. He thought about it. Oleg holds him off for now, and you can see Vernker in the foreground. He is under threat from these two now, there's no doubt about it. He is struggling with his car. Now, can Freeman do what he was able to do at Imola a couple of months ago and get past Ben Milden for the lead? But he's got two other cars he needs to get by first before he can even think about that. There's enough time for him to do it, there's no question. It could even come down to the strategy. As they come down the S's, I can tell you that Oleg has got the gap down to less than a second between him and Vernker, so I think Oleg's going to go past Vernker in a moment. Vernker is not liking the handling of this car, not by any means. It's coming around the last corner now. Mark Conway's coming in to say hi. Hello to you, Mark. Well done on the stint earlier. I don't know if you're going back in the car later. I think you will be anyway. Mountain straight they come. And are we going to see this change being done? We'll have a look in a moment. is important. Now, Freeman's got to hope that Oleg just gets by Vodka straight away and he'll follow through the open door, should there be one. So he's closing back in on him at the same time. Between Freeman in 4th place and Milden in the lead is around about 13.5 seconds. Other battles going on at the moment apart from this 3-car fight for 2nd place right now. Approach the final hour of this race. Oleg needs to get by Vodka very soon because otherwise Milden's going to continue to shoot off into the distance. Oh, Vodka runs wide. That may leave Oleg to pull alongside as they approach turn 1. On the pit straight, Oleg and Freeman get through. Now can Freeman get through and Oleg at the same time? He can't. But he's ahead of Vodka now into P3. An important move in the race for Will Freeman and for the French Connection team. Vodka out of the way. Can Freeman make a move on Oleg very soon? He needs to do. He's got a huge gap up ahead of Milden. He needs to claw back. It's half a minute behind Kobe Alerts in 5th. The battle we want to continue watching because not only is it the best battle on circuit, important one too. Freeman's got the fast up of the race as well, so that's a point for the team. Stands. Hill once more. 14 seconds it is between Milden and Freeman. So Freeman needs to get past. Go on board with him. Get into the slipstream. I think we'll have to go defensive, I think. On the curve, I think Freeman had to lift off the throttle a little bit. He thinks about it up the inside. Oleg saw it coming. Freeman's dropped back a little bit from that. So he's going to have to make up the gap again, isn't he? He's coming in. He's coming into the pits, so he's decided to go for another set of tyres. He's only been in the car for about 25 minutes, says Will. But he feels another set of tyres is the way to go and maybe complete an undercut. They'll allow alerts to go through. Robinson will probably go through too. And Freeman's not too much damage. I know it shows on that screen there, but from what Ben Milden's had to say to me, the repair was done. It took them over a minute to get the repairs done when the swap was being made. Robinson will head through. I think Boostov will be too far back. So Freeman's exiting the pits now, and he's in front of Robinson. That should be one less worry there for Freeman. So he's on another set of tyres. He's down in 5th position. Putting some qualifying laps to claw back the advantage. I wonder if Ben Milden may decide to cover off a little bit later on, because Whilst he's got a huge lead over Oleg and Vodka, I just wonder how quick Freeman's going to be on the set of tyres that he's just gone on to now. Building, continuing on. So the best battle on circuit, well, it would be Freeman and Robinson, but Freeman's just coming for another set of tyres. Vodka's dropped back, in fact he's coming into the pits is Vodka, so that'll be to get the repairs done because he has suffered horribly. I don't think his teammate will be too pleased with it either. Freeman and Robinson will go through, and I think with the repair jobs being done as well, he's going to lose more time in the pits. That'll put Kobe Alerts up to 3rd place now. Carson is right behind Schmitz in the fight for 13th position. Now is still to go in this race to play for. Definitely for in the fight for the win, even though Ben Milden's lead looks comfortable, it's not over. We've seen the mistakes happen during the course of tonight. Vodka has done his stop now. He's rejoining 6th place behind Robinson. Freeman's got a gap of 27.8 seconds over Alerts. Down the hill once more. Two. Ray Thomas who's going through sector 2. 15th place, Clarkson still behind Schmitz. Oh, and Schmitz has run wide and has spun. Car going again, but he's lost the position. Oleg is in from P2. Now this is to cover off Freeman. Around the last corner is Freeman now, but where is Oleg? I think Freeman's got him. He has done. Freeman is through into 3rd place. Ahead of Oleg. Now what is Alerts going to do? I think Alerts has to give the car back to his teammate for the last part of the race because he cannot do the remainder of this one. That's a net 2nd place coming up for Freeman once Alerts is in for his stop. As you can see there, that's the lettuce swap car of Nick Landon, who's had another skirmish with the wall. Stays out of everyone's way. Car turned in though. To make sure he stays out of everyone's way, because this car is handling poorly. Imagine. Really is struggling. Oh, and there's the French Connection car coming through. Don't hold him up! Don't hold it for goodness sake! Goodness gracious me, that is disgraceful driving from Nick Landon. Poor awareness, and that has surely damaged Will Freeman's car. I know he's handling a poorly bad machine, but you still have to be aware of the cars that are coming around you, and that was avoidable. That was 100% avoidable, and Nick Landon just didn't consider what he was doing properly. I just hope Will's car isn't so badly damaged from that, because he will be furious with Nick's driving. Bernker's back in the pits. Now, what has he had a clout with the wall again? He has. What is going on with Robbo Wernker after all the hard work that Zdenek Vortal was doing earlier to get the car up as high as he has done? Wernker's just thrown VRL Racing's team's chances away. What a huge shame. Milden continuing to lead. Kobilet's second place. Oh, and that's another car that's been in the... Is that Chris Gedman this time? It's the Porsche that was in earlier, but thankfully it's not Charlie Smith, who's had his maladies throughout tonight. Chris Gedman has been in the wall as well. Stays out of the way of the other cars. One of those days, hasn't it? It's been in the pits for some time, but no surprise, because that car is in need of surgery before it can even think about going back out. Lead is 22 seconds. Robinson, who's up there in 4th position now, has got the gap to 2 points. Well, he's 2.7 seconds at the moment. Will Freeman's going to have to hope that Ben Milden's coming in for a pit stop. As you can see, Ben's just winding his way through Skyline down the dipper. Elbow. Oh, and that's the Super Hutch Racing of Demon van der Waal, who's had a spin, and he's collected another car as he rejoins. Oh, please don't take out the leader. Thankfully, he doesn't. 909 of Nikinen, who Benif squad have had a day to forget as well, but at least they'll finish in P18. Higher than that, because Landon's been in the pits for a long time now. Saying, is it 20 teams max or 30? To my understanding, it's 29, because there needs to be a place in the lobby reserved for the comms, which is me. Ikonen comes back into the pits to repair the damage. Chris Gedman also in. I can't imagine we want to be back out there anytime soon. Time of the race, it's gone past 7 AM, coming up to around about 1/4 I would say, more like. Some Paris is running in P19. The leader's coming up to lap him very shortly. Paris is carrying some damage to the bonnet as a stop and go penalty has been given to Nikinen, and it's from race control, and I would imagine that for I think it might be for speeding in the pit lane, or what it could be, say Jaco Vanek, who's back in the car now, might be for ignoring blue flags, but it could well be the former. Eldon still leads then for SBR. Bernke's back in the race now, down in 12th position. Hopefully he'll keep his car out of trouble between now and the end. In terms of the top few teams, at the moment as far as this season's concerned, you've got the SBR team of Ben Milden and Sean Cool, then you've got the Superhutch Racing team, what would be Stuart Hutchison but isn't around. You've got Ray Thomas and Devon van der Waal. That team has been off the pace today. Got the Virtual Racing League, who were in earlier but crashed out earlier on after colliding with the High Octane Racing team, who are a very quick team but just had that one mistake which cost both teams dear. And you've got the French Connection team. So those are the ones I would point out to you. .49 minutes remaining. Belden's lead is 21 seconds over Kobe Alerts. Will Freeman's another 25.5 back. So it's over 45 seconds off the lead. He's going to have to hope Ben Milden pits again. I think Milden will pit again before this race is over, but his stop not only is going to be quicker, but it's also going to give him the grip he needs to really claw back the gap. Lead he's got over Freeman in third position. Well, keep hold of the lead. Now. Vanek has got his stop-and-go penalty done. So he'll continue his way, and Victor Christensen is in the pits for Weinbo Racing, and I would assume that he's going to hand the car over to Tobias Jorgensen. London's been in the pits for a while, so I wonder if that will be his race done. Like Busov has got ahead of Bavizl now for 6th position. Is right on the tail of Oleg for 5th. Rich Murray's the left-hander they go through. Bavizl is in the pits. Imagine he'll swap over with his teammate. Go on board with Nikola Busov. 195 Aston Martin BV racing car. He's looking for a move into Griffin's Bay, and he's up the inside. This could be a brilliant move if he can pull it off. Oleg runs wide. But Busov's got him. So Busov's persistence has paid off. He's up into 5th place. That was an excellent overtake from Busov. It almost looked like it was going to end in contact, but thankfully it didn't. He was able to get the move done into Griffin's Bend. That was an excellent overtake from Busov. Hats off to him. They just needs to keep the car in control. Don't get too despondent by being overtaken. Still some way to go yet in this race, and a lot can still change. Trying to make his way back through again. This is great racing between these two. Busov knows it's not a done deal just yet. Back straight they come. Russell's back in the Czech console racing car now, running in 8th place. Robinson's in from 4th position. And the car back over to Mark Conway. Should rejoin well ahead of Dan Naisbitt, who's coming into the pits actually, so Robinson will rejoin in 6th position. 45, well, it's not Robinson who's in the car, it's Mark Conway who will be in the car now. Gap between Milden and Alerts is just under 21 seconds. What's the gap between Alerts and Freeman? Ask. It's Forest Elbow. It'd just be just over 20 seconds on a thought as he goes through the 2nd sector timing beam. And it's 25. Not really closing down the gap on Milden, so he's going to have to hope Milden does pit in, which I think he will do. Volker in from 1 second slower. Because he's going to hand the car over to Robert Berger. In 5th, behind Busov, who pits in. So Conway will head back through. He's running wide through the chase. Change of tyres. He's not pitting in this lap. Can't swap back to his teammate because his teammate has done his allocation of minutes for this race. Really any battles going on right now, which is a bit of a shame. Best to as much as possible to remain like this. The SBR racing team will be extending their lead at the top, coming away with 8 championship points. The French Connection team will be coming away with 73. They will be moving up to second place for the French Connection team. On to 202 points. And the SBR team will be moving on to 232. Gap will be... They're working it out. It's 198 points the French Connection team will have. The SBR team will be on 232, so the gap will be 34 points going into the last round of the season. There is the point also for the pole position. Did they get pole passes that? And they got a point for pole actually as well, did French Connection. So that would leave SBR only needing a top 8 finish, I think, in Spa up at the championship. Don't think Nick London's coming back out on circuit now, so we are 19 runners, well technically 18 because Chris Gedman's so far back from the action, but through no fault of his own really. To gain as much experience as possible. Alerts, who's running in P2. Happy with this one for the Race Nation team. Previous results has been 15th at Imola and 22nd at Donington. So this has been a huge step up in performance from them today. Up the championship order massively after this one. Coming up to around about 7:30 AM. Panorama. That Freeman has got the gap down slightly between him and Alerts, but only ever so slightly. Feel free to get involved in the live chat if you are watching. I'm interested to answer any of your questions. So that you know, season finale will be in 2 weeks' time at Spa-Francorchamps. I won't be around to cover it, unfortunately, due to work commitments. Hopefully there'll be someone to fill in for me for what is expected to be a thrilling finale to the season. Spin for the 909. That is Jaco Vanek, who's had a spin at the chase but has continued. Conway's behind Oleg in 5th position. Kovsky's back in the BV racing car. The Kobolez has got the gap down between him and Ben Middleton, 19.7 seconds. See that he's picking up the pace a little bit now. Don't know it's because Milden's been stopped behind back markers. Oleg has got by the back marker. Conway's a long way back. I was just being guided by Blims that I don't know how much time Oleg has lost. I might have a look on the lap counter actually to see how much time he did lose. How much time did he lose on that lap? No, not too much compared to the other laps, so happy to settle for 4th place, to be honest with you. RC would have taken it at the beginning. Freeman's not really closing down the gap on Kobe Alerts. Squad ready for Massa as he comes in. Had damage, or whether this is a genuine pit stop. I think it's a genuine pit stop. Pits from the race lead. Jacko Vanek is coming back onto the circuit. So he's been in there for some time, although I think he is actually, so he's just leaving his box now. As Milden comes in from the late race lead, as does Kobe Alert. So can Will Freeman get back into the lead here? My guess is that he will. How quick are they in turning Ben Milden around? It's the team's only hope of winning, with Freeman staying out there. And Milden's leaving the pits now, and I think he's ahead of him. So if Will Freeman's going to win this race, he's going to have to do it on the track. Now, if you remember at Imola, he overtook Ben Milden round the outside at Tamburello, which won him the race. Can he do the same here at Mount Panorama? Not sure why Freeman's flashing his lights, but he's got time to do this. Yellow flag on circuit, that's at the... Oh, that's Jorgensen, I think, who's just had a moment, but it's continued. So it should be okay for the leaders. Gap is 1.4 seconds. So the battle for the win is very much on. Do not go anywhere for the final half an hour of this race. And Craig was just coming in saying Will would have been in the lead if it wasn't for Langdon. I couldn't agree more, because Langdon's driving when Will was trying to get past him was pretty abysmal. But it's not over yet. The win can still be there for the French Connection team. They need this win. even if they already have won this season. Now, SBR don't necessarily need to win this race, but it'd be ideal if they have done. "31 minutes remaining." So we've got round about 16 laps to go, including this one. Oleg is back in the pits again. I don't think it's been too long since he was last in the pits. Let's see what's happened. Has he damaged the car? Let's have a look. Too much damage there, so I think this is probably a genuine pit stop. I can say the gap has come down even more. It's 7 tenths between Milden and Freeman. Looks like Landon has left now. So that is letter swap's day over. I don't think they'll get the points for getting as far as they have done. Underworld and Superhotch Racing Team in 15th position, a few laps down, but they should still get the points. Should they remain there? Exclude Chris Gedman and the TC Racing Team. 15 cars are still running in this race, although Jamie Rees is 10 laps down on the leaders and Janko Vanek is down 9 laps. This could be a change of position here. We'll ride on board with Will Freeman. He's right in the slipstream, looking for a way past. On Ben Milden. Looks for it at Griffin's Bend. Can't quite do it there. Knows he'll be back for more as they come up towards the cut-in. Quarry Corner. Up. Reed Park, Frog Hollow, Solomon Park. Now to the next left-hander of McFinnanry Park. Taking a wide line into Skyline. Yeses, and now the dipper. Oh, there's cars in the way. This could make things very interesting. But the leaders have got through the first one fine. But now there's a second one which they need to get through. We'll ride on board with Freeman because he will fancy his chances with Milden this time. Now who's that in front of him? That's the 909, I think, of Janko Vanek, who needs to stay out of the way here, which he does so. Freeman looks to try and get into the slipstream once more. And the next back marker ahead of him is the number 45 of Daniel Moreira for the Yota Sims Tomcott Scout. And that is a move there from Freeman. That was a very late move. I think that caught Milden by surprise. This is going to get very, very tasty. All the way to the end. Now, we'll ride on board with Freeman again as they come out of Hell's Corner and onto the mountain straight. Which way is Milden going to go? He's going to have to go defensive if he's to fend this one off. Looks left, he looks right, Freeman goes to the right. Milden's made his one defensive move. Freeman to the outside, but it made contact! And Freeman nearly ended up in the wall. Now, I'm sure that wasn't malicious from Milden, but it was very marginal. I think we've lost another car from this race too. I can't quite tell which car that is. Is that the... It's not the Super Arch Racing team because they're still in it. Let's just have a look to see. That is, that's dropped out. I think it's Clarkson. It's the African Thunder squad who I think we've lost, unfortunately. Hopefully they'll come back in. Will Freeman is still right in this. Just needs to soak up on all the pressure on Milden ahead. Half seconds is the gap. I wonder if the stewards will take a look at that incident. Griffin's Bend between the pair of them. I can say whilst that battle is going on, there's a battle going on for 6th position because Mikowski is right on the tail of Postle. 2 Aston Martins going into combat. Made his one defensive move. Mikowski to the outside. Mikowski goes a little bit too deep, does he? No, he's still there. But Postle keeps his nose in front. Freeman's continuing to close down the gap on Milden as Milden runs wide as he enters Griffin's Bend. And that may open the door for Freeman to get past here. Side by side they go. Into the cutting. Freeman on the outside. Is he through? No, he's not. Milden just about keeps his car ahead of the French connection. Not over yet by any means. Postle's still ahead of Mikowski in the fight for 6th. Didn't take the best of lines into Skyline. Milden able to pull away a little bit more. Postle holding off Mikowski as they go through the chase. Flags being waved for Vanderwall, who 109 or whatever it is, or 108, has gone through skate road there, or the chase I should say. Just be careful with track limits because you don't want to be penalised for that. Freeman right on Milden's tail. 8/10 is the gap. This is Postle on the left. Mikowski on the right. Will Mikowski try and pull this off this time? He can't! He ran wide. He just avoided the wall, I think. It's just as you go offline, there's all those marbles down there too. Go on board with 3 minutes, he takes us through Griffin's Bend and towards the cut-in once more. Lap 75. So you gain a better exit coming out of there and get close enough to Milden as they go through the sweeping left-handers. I think this is where the SBR has been handling better at the second sector. It's the first and third sectors where the French connection has been perfecting more. Coming down onto the Conrod Straight. It's an accident. It's the 108 of Jamie Rees who's in the wall. And I think this is going to be the end of his race this time, to be honest with you. Burst out of there, but he's in a very dangerous spot. Hopefully that doesn't affect the leaders when they come round to it. Milden. Freeman. Top two, nose to tail. Now, Freeman can get a real good exit out of here. So they use the curves. Freeman will get into the slipstream. Goes. Thinks about a move up the inside. Milden covers it off. See Milden later on the brakes, but Milden's able to just keep going as he's doing. Someone's just coming into the pits. It's the number 29 of Schmidt. P12. Now we've got a real fight on our hands. We haven't seen too much of this throughout the race, but thankfully we've got it now. 20 minutes to go. So we've got 10 laps remaining after this lap that the leaders are on. Freeman up on Milden and take the lead here. Lead that is so rightfully for the French Connection team after the job that Craig Law had done in the race. They've been floundered by back markers along the way, but there's still a chance for them to snatch it back. Now he just needs the best of exits coming out of Hell's Corner. That's a very nice exit. Milden ran wide. I think this is going to be Freeman's best chance to get the job done here. Into the slipstream, onto the mountain straight, pulls out alongside, goes Will Freeman. Side by side they go. They've got Griffin's Men that's coming up in a few hundred metres time. Freeman on the inside of the SBR car, and Will Freeman has got the French Connection car back into the lead. Here we mount Panorama. An excellent overtake, a well-deserved move, and he's got back the lead that is rightly deserved for the French Connection team, and I'm sure there'll be mass relief for Craig Law. That was superb stuff from Will Freeman. Ben Milden had seen it coming. I just wonder whether that pit stop he made, was that the right thing to do? That'll be something for me to discuss with both Ben and Sean Cole after the race. But very, very well done to Will Freeman. He's done exactly what he did at Imola back in March, and pull off an overtake on the SBR to potentially seal the win. But it's not over yet. Now, are the French Connection team going to take their second win of the season and close the gap in the championship? With Freeman on the fastest lap point, and also for the pole position point that he got earlier on, I believe. Just trying to remember back from memory. Yeah, so they've got a point for the pole position and a point for the fastest lap. So 82 points I think it is that they'll pick up. So 82 points to the SBR 76 would see the gap close down to 21 points going into the final race of the season. There's still a chance that they can snatch the title. tell you that Mikowski's dropped back in his pursuit of Postle for 6th position. Alerts is running in P3. Whereabouts is he? He's only just coming to Griffin's Bend. He's a long way back from the top 2. And Conway, I think, is going to be settling for P4. Dunkert, who's just trying to salvage something from this race, is running in P11. .15 minutes still to go. Time for Freeman to make a mistake and for Milden to get back through again, but Freeman's got this one under control, I believe. Eight laps completed, and Freeman's continuing to pull away from Milden. Michael Clark, who's running in P10. M squad, which is quite something actually, given calamities that have been involved with earlier on, with incident with Clouts with the walls and everything else. Not long to go left in this race now, though. Ben Milden is not really pushing that much, to be honest with you. The race is pretty much done in terms of the fight for the win. Said they would have got to come away with they would have been happy with the podium, and it's a podium that they're about to get. Remain as it is, they would just need finishing the top 4 in the season finale at Spa to guarantee themselves the title. Still other teams mathematically in the fight, but most realistically, it's between those two. Unless something happens to both cars. If something does happen, then it's up for grabs for everyone else that's still mathematically in the hunt. Markers which will Freeman get through are the 89 Audi of Ben, 195 of Mikowski, and the number 68 of Postle. Postle and Mikowski are running in 6th and 7th, so there'll be more get by, I would have thought. Gap is 2.4 seconds. Been an amazing battle between those two, despite what's been a chaotic race. In all honesty, the first hour we saw so much carnage, not a lot happening that's genuine racing, and then once things started to really calm down, we saw a few battles, but none better than the battle we've seen between Freeman and Milden. Freeman on course. Team's second win of the campaign. Had a lackluster time at Donington. Car just wasn't really dialed in as well to that track. Somehow got it right here. Putting the car on pole. Got the fastest lap, and now they're in the position to win the race. And there's an accident involving the 423 of Gedman. Dropped it at sweeping left-handers, and he just needs to be very careful through here. He decides to just pull the car off and go back into the pits via the pause menu, so he doesn't cause any drama with the other drivers. Stay out of the way here, he has to. Just about. That's a dangerous spot though, Chris. Be very careful. Oh no, 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 Chris! No! No, 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 no! Oh, he's taking the leader out! Oh, goodness me! Oh, this is turning into a farce. What a disaster! I cannot believe it. Chris Gedman, what on earth have you done, my friend? What on earth have you done? Well, thankfully, Freeman's still in the lead, but Milden had to take evasive action. Freeman hit the back of the Porsche on circuit. Oh, it just wasn't what we needed at all. Freeman's lead is around about the same as what it was before he came round, but yeah, that was not ideal at all. Not what we needed. And Cameron Makowski, who ran into the back of him, unfortunately. Not his fault. He will be absolutely furious. He was pursuing Postle for 6th place as well. I think Adam Anderson's going to take the position off him too. And Gedman's still trying to get his car back to the pits. You can see how askew his front tyres are. There's going to be some strong words after this race, after not just what we've seen there, but throughout, because that was just shocking to see. Not good at all. Well, Makowski's lost one position because of the contact. I just hope he doesn't end up losing anymore. Well, thankfully, Lil Freeman's got by Gedman, as has Milden. Yeah, I'm afraid to say that Chris Gedman can hang his head in shame. It was a disaster in itself, and it could have been so much worse. We've got the 29 going for a spin now. What's that? Is that Ben who's off track? It is. He's got more room to deal with his Melodies there, but he's got back on track now. Obviously he's back in the race, by the way. He's in 8th position, so he's only lost 1 position, but he's down a couple of laps on the leader now. Edmund's just coming back into the pits. If I was you, Chris, I'd just go in the pits and stay there. Don't bother coming back out. Team are going to be in trouble after this, because we saw what happened with Charlie Smith earlier. The driving standards we saw from him were absolutely abysmal. Five minutes to go in this race. Wolf Freeman's coming around to complete his 83rd lap. Be 3 more laps of racing. Freeman just needs to keep the car on circuit now. He's just worried of whether they're up coming towards another back marker that may put him off, but thankfully and hopefully it won't. Next man ahead of him is 6th place man Apostle in the Czech console racing team car, the Aston Martin 68. It's 5.7 seconds. Milden knows that race is nearly theirs for the 3rd race running. The consistency is what's going to win you a championship. So it's just about to lap Jamie Rees. Not any battles going on at the moment. Got long left now in this one. No rain, of course, throughout. I think would have made it even more tough for the drivers, especially in the opening stages when it was so dark. Ultimate lap of the race now. Group of cars chasing each other, although I don't think there's any battle for positions going on there. Van Eyck comes in, and I think he's calling it a day. It's happened throughout this one, at least stayed until the end. to lap Jamie Rees now. To the pits. I think Chris Gedman is actually leaving the pits, and no more shenanigans if you are going to come out. Just please, no more. 423 Porsche. PC Racing. No, that doesn't involve me, in case you're wondering. It is my initials, but I have no involvement in that team whatsoever. Rees stays out of the way of the leader. So, Will Freeman is about to start the last lap of the race now. Been an eventful encounter. To watch for Chris Gedman on the last lap. He's had a clout with the wall again. Get through on, it's like Jaco Vanek. This and the dipper and through elbow. Jaco lets him go through, doesn't want to get involved in the fight. Now, what is Chris doing? Is he trying to show off, or is he just... I don't really have any more explanations, to be honest with you. What's been a very chaotic race. I think Jaco's been in the wall, to be honest with you. He's just staying out of the way of the other cars. He's not fighting with them. Not even bothering. There's Will Freeman. Flashing the lights to say that he knows that the victory is in sight. It looked as though it was lost after they'd been hit by back markers, hit 3 back markers throughout the course of the race. But even that hasn't stopped them from taking the top step here at Mount Panorama in Bathurst. Craig Law will be looking on in glee to see his teammate pull off an amazing job on his stint. Will Freeman, Craig Law and the French Connection team win in Mount Panorama in the Endurance Team Series in the Formula Racing League. A brilliant, brilliant effort from Will Freeman despite the circumstances. Ben Milden, Sean Cole and the ESSA28 team SBR come home in second place for the 3rd race running. And there is the Race Nation squad. Kobe Alerts and his teammate are going to pick up a podium. A well-deserved podium. Well done to them. And then further behind, it's going to be Mark Conway, Lewis Robinson and the FRL team will be in 4th place. They're only 4.5 seconds in front of the Scuderia ORC squad. They're just taking it easy, I think, on this last lap. There's a back mark ahead, so Blims just doesn't want to take any risks. Or Conway doesn't want to take any risks, I should say. Anderson's coming in 7th. McCoskey 8th. Berger 9th. I think Robinson's going to hold on. Conway's going to hold on here. Now, I don't know if he's running short on fuel or whatever. Taking it very easy. Through the last corner he comes. It's a crossover line in 4th place. Well done to the FRL admin team for getting that result. Blims 5th. Postel, the last driver on the lead lap, in 6th place. And it's the T1 SRC squad in 7th. BV Racing 8th. 1 second slower 9th. Team M&M 10th. VRL Racing 11th. Vimbo Racing 12th. Box for Hard Motorsport 13th. Superhutch Racing 14th. And it's the Yoda Steve's Tomcats Motorsport squad in 15th place. And it's Finneth in 16th. Friston Racing in 17th position. And I think they'll be the last driver and team, I should say, to get points. But there's your race winners. It's the French Connection squad here at Mount Panorama in Bathurst. What a race. What a race indeed. An event for one. Both good and bad reasons. SBR come home in second, with Race Nation in third, and it's the FRL admin team in fourth place, followed by Scuderia ORC. Czech Console Racing are sixth, ahead of T1 SRC in seventh, BV Racing eighth, 1 second slower ninth, Team M&M rounding out the top 10. VRL Racing 11th, Finebow Racing in 12th position, then it's Box for Hard in 13th place, then it's Super Hutch Racing in 14th position, then it's the O2C Tomcats Motor Squad in 15th, Vinith should be classified in 16th, as will Fresh Sim Racing. African Thunder lost connection towards the end. We'll leave that for the stewards to decide whether they will get points. I doubt Letter Swap will do though. TC Racing, well, they've got some work, they've got some explanations to answer, because that was a disaster from them in terms of the way they got involved with the leaders, especially. Blue Coyote Racing in 21st. High Octane Racing, well, Blue Coyote Racing didn't finish. They lost connection, I think. High Octane Racing crashed out with Virtual Racing League. Team Lowlands didn't get far. And T1 SRB, they didn't even start the race, unfortunately. So, the championship as it is, the French Connection squad getting 82 championship points. SBR getting only 76. So the gap at the top has come down to 21 points. It's not firmly between those two in the race for the title, but it is realistic that they are the two favourites going into the season finale at Spa, where it will be a 4-hour endurance event. We'll speak to the SBR for ESSA28 drivers of Ben Milden and Sean Cole any moment now. They will join me in the commentary position very shortly to discuss about their race and how it changes the situation for them going into the season finale. A podium was what they were after when I was speaking to them earlier, and a podium was what they got. So I think they have every reason to feel satisfied and happy with that result. In terms of the battle for third place, it's too close to Cole at the moment. The T1 SRD squad weren't around this evening, so they don't pick up any points. VL Racing did, though. The Virtual Racing League didn't pick up points because they didn't finish. And I think Super Hutch Racing, I think they'll probably end up losing second place in the third place in the championship going into the season finale. So yeah, I would probably say it's firmly between SBR and the French Connection. So it's 2 wins out of 3 for the French Connection team for Will Freeman and Craig Law. Who can stop them? Well, for SBR to wrap up the title, be sure of it, they need to finish no lower than 5th in Spa to be sure of the title, even if the French Connection squad were to come away with maximum points. So we're just waiting on Ben and Sean to join me in the comments position in terms of how their race has gone. It was a very, very chaotic beginning to the race. If you haven't seen it, you'll have to look on the previous stream, because we had an interruption to the broadcast around about halfway through. But go check it out in terms of the incidents earlier on, especially in the dark, and that made it even more tricky for the drivers. But as the skies had brightened, made it easier for the drivers, really. But there's going to be some stewarding most certainly after this, because of all the incidents we had that shouldn't even have happened. Let us know how the race went for you. It was a good. Well, I don't necessarily want to say it's been a good race because we had all the incidents, but I think in terms of what we saw in the last hour or so was probably the best bit. Personally, I disagree with that. Give it about 5 minutes before to see if Ben and Sean join me in the comments suggestion, and if they don't, we'll just call the broadcast off there for tonight. It's been a long evening for me. Whilst we're waiting for Ben and Sean to join me in the commentary position, I will remind you of all the other championships that the Formula Racing League do, including Taco Tuesday. That particular evening, 8:30 British summer time. Get involved in the chats as well in the Discord if you ever so wish to do. There's also the Facebook and Instagram pages for you to follow. Feel free to have a look at all the championships as well, because they're in the YouTube description for you to look at. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Give it 1 more minute, and if I don't get a response from Ben or Sean, I'm just going to call the broadcast there. So just give it a minute, and hopefully we'll speak to them in a second. Right, so I'm not getting a response from Ben or Sean at this moment in time. Considering how long I've been waiting since the race has finished, I'm going to leave it there. So all I can say to you is thank you very much for joining us throughout tonight. Make sure you like and subscribe, as I've already mentioned, and we'll do it all over again. Unfortunately, I won't be around for the season finale at Spa in 2 weeks' time due to work commitments that I have at Formula 1. But if there is someone that's able to stand in for me, I hope they do as good of a job as what I have done and provide the best coverage possible for the season finale. I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us. Do join in 2 weeks' time should there be a broadcast for it, for the 4-hour endurance season finale. Will it be the French Connection squad, or can SBR take the title? I'm Tom Cans, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.